Alrighty, everybody, thank you for joining me in the studio for my favorite night of the week, Wednesday, when we all get together and have a little bit of fun, doing some watercolor painting, maybe learn a few things. I know I very often learn a few things from you all. Tonight, we are going to be painting watermelon. There's my reference photo right up there. I'll blow that up if you all want to see it in a little bit. This is, of course, my monthly challenge. This month was watermelon, and I'm happy to show you my watermelon painting for this challenge. I hope you all have tried it on your own, maybe not this one, but a watermelon, and had some fun with that, and now you can see how I'm going to do mine. Going through a little bit of housekeeping. I've got, it's about a 10.5 by 10.5 square of watercolor paper. This is Bao Hong student grade watercolor paper. It's just what I had handy. I had some of this pre-cut. I bought it in a roll. In fact, you can see the line there where I drew when I cut it. And that's about all the paper. It's 140-pound rough. I'm sorry, not rough, cold press paper. The brushes, wow, this is getting worn off, are my King Art 9020 series pointed round brushes, which I very much like. And over here on my right-hand side are the paints that I'm going to be using. They are my M Gram paints, and somewhere, right down there somewhere, are the colors that I'm going to use. It's going to be scrolling through there. I need to use the rest of this bar down there a little bit more. I'm going to work on that. So saying hi to a few folks. Sudike, thank you for joining early and letting me know you danced to the opening music there. It's funny because I put that all together, and when I start this, I can't even hear it. So quite honestly, I don't even remember what music it is. I remember I got something bright and upbeat a little bit. Liza is here. Welcome, Liza. I'm glad you are here. Always glad you are here. And I expect that there will be a few more people rolling in. I'm going to get started with this, but first, Liza dancing emoji. First, I just want to say, here's my general way I'm going to attack this, okay? And I'm going to tell you, I have it pre-drawn. I hope you can just see it here. It's very light, but I have mine pre-drawn here. I'm going to use a couple of different kinds of red here, right? We all look at a watermelon and we all think the center is red, and we'll go from there. But the center isn't really red. I mean, it is red, but it's not really red. And if I can find a piece of scrap paper before I get started, I will go through a few reds that we're going to use on here. And I'm going to do it in a few different intensities, right? A few different saturation, higher saturation of red in a couple of areas. This is going to be a darker, colder red here, and then it'll lighten up as we get to the top of this one. And same thing with this one, darker at the base and lighten at the top. Hopefully, that's going to push these back a little bit. Also, we'll put in some of our own shadow in there. And then the one up front, it can be more of a monotone value, but I can't do that, so we'll mix it up a little bit just for us. And then the rind here, which is white right around the edge, I'll pre-wet it. In fact, I should probably start with that. I'll pre-wet it, and get just a very gentle graded wash of some green going across there. So actually, let's do that. Let's start with that. I'm going to start back here on this one. I'm going to pre-wet this area, and that way when it dries, we can come back on with that red, and we will already have had our wonderful rind done, or at least that's the plan anyways. I don't think it's a surprise to anybody that the watermelon rind, even though we think of it as being white, isn't really white. It's just somewhat white. There's a lot of green that runs through it. Let's see. You guys are talking already. Hey, Liza, buy any new paints this week? I haven't gotten anything. I'm going through withdrawal. I'll tell you what I've gotten this week, which is not paint, but something I think is equally as cool. I have recently, I'm going to warn you, this has absolutely nothing to do with watercolor painting in the least. But I have recently picked fishing back up again. Last year, my wife was kind enough to buy me a fishing license. Liza says, saving for vacations, so we had to be very firm with not buying some watercolor paints, which do get pretty pricey pretty quickly. So my wife bought me last year a fishing license, and I promptly went, this will be awesome. I'm going to take all of the fishing news that I remembered, the fishing skill that I thought I once had when I was 20, and all of the fishing gear that I had when I was 20. I dug it all out. I went up to the lake and started fishing, and the fish kind of laughed at me and said, we're not gonna bite on any of that. And I went for months without catching a fish, any kind of a fish. And then I kind of went, all right, something is not right here. And I started watching a couple of videos about how people were catching fish in the lake that I was fishing in. And I discovered their secrets. And so I started fishing for real. I'm going to say for real a couple of weeks ago. And I've been catching all kinds of fish. All of a sudden, like a lot of fish. And so then I went, I have to up my game and get some new gear. So I've gotten bought quite a bit of stuff in the past week or so. But it's all been fishing equipment. Nothing so fun as watercolor stuff. But that's it. Liza, you're doing Oils right now. We'll get back to watercolors in the fall. See, Liza, that's funny. I would have thought you'd have done it the opposite way. Right? You'll do watercolors in the spring and in the summer when it's nice and light outside. It's warm. You know, there's plenty of sunshine and whatnot. You can easily pack your kit and go out on a plein air adventure. And then when fall and winter starts to get here and you're in your house and you got your heater on and whatnot, that would be, to me, when you do your oils, because I would presume it would help them dry a little bit to be in the heat inside. But you all know I'm not a good gauge of that kind of thing, because all I do is watercolors. I do know that oils have a hard time drying sometimes. That's all I know about oils. So I can't say anything else about that. Tom is here. Hey, Tom. Good evening. Great to have you back in the studio. Glad you could make it. Hope you had an opportunity to, if you wanted to, do this watercolor challenge, this watermelon watercolor challenge. If not, it's not too late. It is a fun challenge to do, and it's not too hard. It's perfect. And the good thing about it is, if you don't get it, and I'm going to use quotes here, right, nobody says anything. We all know how a slice of watermelon looks. You paint it so there's a bite taken out of it. if that's so how you do it, that's all good. Liza, you try to catch the light. In the fall and winter, I paint very early in the day to try and catch the light. Okay, cool. I get that. I totally get that. You're much further north than I am. So you probably, I'm going to assume, have to get the light when you're able. Not always a good time for that. All right, cool. There's my watermelon rind, the outside. Well, not the outside, but mostly the outside. We're going to paint the actual outside in a little bit, but that's my start to it. Right? There's a little bit of yellow in there. There's a little bit of green in there. I've used Cobalt Green. I had to look for a second. Cobalt Green and Hansa Yellow. Just a cold yellow. Makes it look nice. And now is when we need to grab a piece of paper and look at some reds. I'm not going to use the back of this. I'll use the back of this one. I painted a mermaid on here. And so we're going to look at a few of the reds that I have here. Right? This is alizarin crimson. I'm sorry. No. That's Maroon Perylene. This one is alizarin crimson. And this one is Pyrrol Red. Some wonderful reds here. And then this one is Quiacridone Rose. And you can see from this, I've got a warmer red. Maybe you can't see, but I'm going to explain it to you. My blends are amazing. You're still practicing. If that's true, Sudike, if that's true that my blends are amazing, just remember I used to do it for hours at a time just because I thought it was fun to do. I would take a page like this and I'd draw a rectangle like this. And now I'm going to say I used to do this and watch. I'm going to try to do it, and it's going to not turn out real well, but I used to grab a little color on here and see how well I could blend this down. Grab a little bit from up there and just keep blending and blending and blending. Need a little more water and a little less paint, and blending and blending. And can we get it all the way down to the bottom? There you go. And I would do that for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours. I love doing that. And I'd do the opposite too, is I would try to take it from this side. I need a lot more water than that. I try to take it from this side and push it up. How does it push up? Right, can we keep going up with it? How far up can we take this entire blend? I don't know. Can we get it all the way to the top? Probably. There we go. All the way up to the other side. So I would do that time and time and time and time and time and time again, because I like doing that, right? And so I learned to do blending away from me and towards me, and sideways this way and sideways that way, and with my paper here and with my paper there. I love doing that. So if my blends look nice, it's because it's a lot of practice. Blends are very soothing and calming. That is true. I feel badly that my one going up away from me is better than my one coming down. That's okay. Okay, anyways, look, watercolors, watermelons. I'm going to do this all night long. I'm going to mess up watercolors and watermelons. Watermelons are a varying different amount of reds, right? We can have a cold red. I'm going to use this pink, and we're going to see it's not really going to matter, all the way out at the edge. Mix that with a little bit of Pyrrol Red and even a little bit of alizarin crimson, and you know what's going to end up happening? Look, all of a sudden, it looks like we've got a cool... Well, this was going to be a better demonstration than maybe it turned out to be. It's just maybe not quite big enough. We'll just pull that out a little bit. Look, all those different colors, they all meet up to make one cool watermelon-y color, right? But if you look up closely, you can definitely see there's some pinks in here. There's a warmer red. There's a colder red. So that is to say, I'm gonna use these colors here. Whoops, these ones, and maybe not this Maroon Perylene so much, but these three to define the body of my watermelon like this. And I think it's going to work out really well. I think we're going to have a good opportunity to make some really interesting watermelon-y watermelons. And so, Jennifer Cox is here. Hello, hello, hello. Good to see you again. And so I'm going to mix up a really light wash of what is my lightest red. Happens to be the coldest one I have. Yes, it's a kind of a pink color, but it's my Quiacridone Rose, and I'm going to put it on. Liza, you're saying you're always going to see a watermelon a little differently from now on, but they're not really red. I mean, they're red, but they're not really red. There's a whole mixture of colors in there, and I'll bet you if I put this red on here, this pink actually on here like this, and you look at it, you're probably just going to go, it's watermelon. That's all there is to it. It's a watermelon. There's nothing to it, because your eye picks it up as a red color, and woo, look at that. I wanted to change that value just a little bit, and I guess I did. There we go. Lots of water, really light layer here. There we go. And I'm just going to block all these colors in together. I'm not going to try to separate the back from the middle from the front one. They all meet in the center here. So I'm going to use one color here, and that's going to help all of these join together and be a little bit more united, right? Have a little bit more color cohesion, if we want to call it that. in what we're seeing, or at least that's the thought anyways. And you can see I'm painting right over all of my watermelon seeds. I'm not bothering to stop for those. Those are, of course, much darker, and we'll be able to paint right over top of this light color. We can always paint a darker over a lighter. It's a little harder to do it the opposite way. All right. And with any luck, this will stay wet. Oh, I just put my brush in the wrong. I have 3 water buckets up there. One that I had specifically for these reds. And I just put my brush in the wrong one. Well, that's okay. That's okay. We can deal with that. Let's see, this color comes down here somewhere. So I got just a little bit of a hard edge there. I'm working quickly. I'm going to be done very soon. I should have gotten the slightly larger brush to do this with. This is where it's a little jaggedy at, right here. And so be it. You know, you cut that watermelon, it doesn't always cut perfectly smooth. It cuts it mostly smooth, let's just say. And we'll just call that pretty good. Cool, watch this. All right. Right on around. I hope, yeah, it's kind of staying wet there. I tried to use a lot of water. I'm hoping it's going to stay wet. Because if it stays wet, then we can play with it a little bit. And I want to play with it a little bit. Let's have a little fun with it. Okay, this kind of looks like a watermelon, right? Kind of comes right down there. I think if I were to do this, you know, on my own, on a Saturday morning, sitting down by myself, I might take a moment and really blend that red back up and in so I don't have a hard edge on these watermelon. But I think it's, you know, right on the rind, but I think this is totally fine. I think it's totally fine. I just want to start introducing. I don't want to totally do it all, but I want to start introducing where there are some darker colors in here. Right, there are a few darks back here. And we're going to see how this looks when we're all done with this. I think it's going to look actually pretty interesting and pretty lively, and you're going to see it's whether it looks right. I'm going to use right in quotes because I don't really know what right looks like, but it's going to look more lively than you think. It's going to look different probably than you think, but your eye's going to pick it up as having, you know, a lot of interest to it, and we haven't really done much of anything to give it that interest. Okay, cool. I'm going to leave it just like that and let some of this dry, and then I'm going to tell stories while it dries. Oh, I've got some rind out here I can paint. But look at it already, right? We just put on a base color and maybe just a tad more, and we've already got a whole bunch of interest going on these. So when we go and enhance this color now, and we put another layer on, we glaze over the top of it. It's gonna bring this out more, right? It's gonna help us even further with this. Let's see, what have you guys been saying? Michael, I will always see what I'm... Okay, do you ever use masking fluid? Sudike asks. The answer is yes. I've used masking fluid. once this year, and that was on the hibiscus flower we painted 2 weeks ago. Prior to that, I think I used it in 2020. I don't use a whole lot of masking fluid. I just don't. I don't have any problem with masking fluid. It's just one of those things that has never really made it into my wheelhouse of painting, and so I don't really use it that much. Jennifer says, glad to be here with everyone. Jennifer, we're all glad to have you here too. Thank you for stopping by. Jennifer says, painting a watermelon this week. Ended up with a whole page of fruit. So the one class, the one painting class, I guess I've taken two, but it was the same class twice. Basically, the watercolor painting class I've taken, the first in the series, the teacher was very adamant that if you're going to paint fruit, he was very adamant you should paint things that have a dual purpose. So one of the things you should always paint is fruit, because if you get hungry, you've always got something there. Don't paint things that are like unitaskers. Don't paint unitaskers. Those are no fun. Those are tough. Paint things that are going to help you out in the long run. And so one night he said, we're going to do a live painting here, and he brought in about $40 or $50 worth of fruit and then sat it around, and he would just go around every now and again and grab one and put it in his mouth, and everybody's composition had to change a little bit, or you had to remember what was there. It was quite interesting. I'm just putting on some very gentle strokes here, so I don't, if I turn my paper, my hand's going to be over the part that's wet here anyways. So I'm just trying to be super careful about where I paint. If you're wondering why I'm taking all these crazy strokes, my brush has plenty of water in it. It's keeping a nice wet edge, so I shouldn't have any issues with it drying out or any such thing as that. There we are. A little bit of red, a little bit of green there. Tracy has made it. Welcome back, Tracy. Always good to see you here. And Tracy, I didn't see, anybody who doesn't know, I'm willing to give a plug to, and if I've missed somebody, please let me know. I'm always willing to give a plug to anybody else on YouTube who has a channel. Tracy has a channel, but I don't think I saw Tracy. If you posted a video this week, I don't recall. Anybody who doesn't know, Tracy is a wonderful artist in her own right. She's much better at drawing than I am. And she's got a whole eclectic bunch of things on her YouTube site or channel. I'm sorry. Okay, so you haven't posted this week, and you're not late. You're not late. You're right on time. You just made it. I'm just adding a little color to the outside. What I'm doing is I'm stalling to let this red pinkish area dry a little bit. So this gives us the perfect opportunity to finish the rind on here and make this look really nice and appetizing. And I'm just trying to be careful with it. So the green here and the green here, we're pretty much done with. The green back here, pretty much done with, but this, right, this is a watermelon down here, and so we got to have some darker lines. I'll let this dry. I'll re-wet it a little bit, and we'll start to layer in some darker colors. Some of those cool watermelon stripes will go on here. Let's see. Tracy Blue, Tracy. That was okay. Let's see. Liza says she's a sub of Tracy's, which is fantastic, as am I. Let's see. I don't remember. Last I saw. Let's see. Liza says, Tracy, you and I don't have the bravery to have a channel. You go. Yeah. It's funny when you have to put yourself out there for everybody to see, and in essence, in the end, to judge. But I have stumbled upon, and I hope Tracy finds the same thing, stumbled upon some really nice people. And I hope to keep this channel really positive. Let's see, Tracy, last thing you posted, and I didn't get to watch, and I apologize, but you you may eventually boost your confidence enough to do so. That's true. Tracy, you tried some Marmite. Tell me, how was the Marmite? I know what I think Marmite is, or is like, but I'm curious what you think it is like. And then while that's going on, I just want to show everybody. I'm still waiting for this to dry. It's been super hot here and super dry, and quite honestly, I dreaded coming out here because this time yesterday and the day before it was over 80 in the studio, and my studio is just my garage. It's pretty open. It's pretty hot in here. Today was a return to normalcy. It was cool. It's not even 70 in here right now, so it's fantastic. But I do want to show you this that I have been working on, which is obviously a blue and gold macaw. I spent about an hour working on this, which I think turned out really nicely. And if you follow me on Instagram, you have seen that I did a lion that I posted there. It was for a coworker, asked me if I wouldn't be able to paint a lion, and so I did that. Let's see, it's okay. It's not really exciting. It almost tastes like soy sauce on toast. I don't know that that's how I would describe it, but I can see that. I would describe it as not brilliant. Okay, I think we're dry enough. We can start in on some of this now. So I want to, I'm really working, and you all can check me on this. I'm really working on not working in heavy colors, and so I'm going to put some color on here, and then we're going to blend it out and see if it's what I want. I'm never going to get away from blending color out. Blending, blending, blending. I love blending color. There's just nothing like it. There is nothing like it. It's the best. And I should say, while I'm going through this, because that lion, this is what was supposed to remind me. I just remembered it. I just remembered what it was supposed to remind me of. That lion was a challenge to me from a coworker, of which I accepted, and I think I executed successfully. But you all can really tell me. But I want to put it out to the channel here because I want to paint some of the things that you all would like to see. So if you would like to see me paint something, throw it into chat here and let's talk about it. I would love to hear what it is, and maybe we'll do it for next week. Maybe we'll throw it in for a challenge for everybody to do, but I think it's a fantastic thing to start thinking about. Out of the Dark is here. There's Out of the Dark. Good to see here. I'm here, by the way. I was busy catching up with the drawing, painting. Now you did last week. Did I do the trail last week? So many of them run together. You did it along with me, and then posted it, and I thought yours turned out fantastic. Lots and lots of things I really liked about your painting. I thought your bushes on the one side were just unbelievably good. So now, because they're so good, now you're going to have to start leading some of the Watercolor Wednesdays. Now, I'm happy to continue to lead Watercolor Wednesdays. I really enjoy it. But I do want to say I thought it was really, really pretty outstanding. And I don't know how, quite honestly, some of the times I'm not sure how I speak and paint and follow along the conversation on my own. So I'm really not sure how you were able to follow along and paint and hold the conversation typing. I'm pretty impressed. I'm pretty impressed. This was my kids. I'd say hashtag impressed, and then they'd give me the old palm face. But I like to give them a hard time like that. Let's see. The piece I was just working on at the top, this one up here looks icy cold and refreshing. I just took it out of the refrigerator. Maybe it's not icy cold. I took it out of the refrigerator about 40 minutes ago. I had to see what time it is. I took it out 40 minutes ago so we could all enjoy it as it's nice and cold. So what I'm purposely not trying to do here, or maybe I should say what I'm purposely trying to do, is leave some of these darker and lighter areas, right? I want new me. We've talked about painting style and technique and how what you're going to do is going to change from time to time, and you're going to see something you like and you're going to try to follow it. And sometimes it's going to help your paintings a lot, and sometimes maybe not quite as much. This is one of the things that I've started doing, and I'm going to blame it on all of you, right? Because you're all here with me on Wednesday, and it's forcing me to paint every Wednesday in addition to the weekend. So I'm painting twice as much as I normally would, and I've kind of just run into this where let me bring this one back. Let me bring these back. Where instead of trying to do things literally, because anybody can do things literally, and I've said for a long time, I don't try to make an exact duplicate of things. I want to use that as a reference. So like this, right? I don't have any feathers on here. I have the outline of some feathers, but I'm going to let the paint tell me where the feathers go on here, and then I'll include those. And I've done that on a number of paintings now. Here's one that I did a while ago, and I've got these darker areas in here, and the darker areas were there as a result of a previous layer of paint, and so I've just kind of enhanced them and made those into feather-ish shapes. right? Throw that over there. And this one too. I got another one I do like. Everybody knows I like painting birds, so these are some hawk heads. But you can see the feathers down here, right? Feathers, feather, feather, feather. Very subtle feathers. There's a feather up here, but I'm doing them in conjunction with the paint that's already there. And I can only do that if I have some variation, some lighter areas and some darker areas. And once you have those lighter areas, darker areas, I can't scoot my chair up any further. Once you have those lighter areas or darker areas, then you have the ability to bring some real interest to what you're painting. And now I'm going to read some. Let's see. Jennifer, great idea. Oh, I would like a... Oh, wait, hold on. Okay, so we have some ideas coming in here. Let's see. It's very thin to blend. A beaver or boxer dog. I'm going to write it down here. Beaver... boxer dog. I'm just writing this right on my tabletop. And you had something else, a peacock. Holy cow. So I will tell you, let's see. Yep, the tail. Oh, the tail on the blue and gold macaw. Michael, the piece you were just my imposter syndrome will flare up if I had to. Oh, okay. Oh, out of the dark, you're talking about what I was. You were responding to what I was talking about, is being able to do so many things at once. And my roommate was yapping to me. Jennifer says, I discovered the Filbert Grainer this week, and I'm in love. Okay, so explain what the Filbert Grainer is. I know what a filbert brush is. I don't believe I actually own a filbert brush. I just looked here. I don't have one here. I'm not sure I have one over there. Oh, the eyeballs on this make it alive. Yeah, you capture the soul of... I'll bring these back. You can take a quick look while this is drying a little bit. Ugh. Yeah, so... Right, there's some nice gradation around here, and that shadow line, along with a little highlight in there, really helped to make that eyeball stand out. This one, a couple of different colors in the eye. I've got some brown, I got some gray in general, some brown, some purple, back to gray on this side to add some interest as you look around this eyeball. And the same thing here, shadow line that comes over here from this brow, and a couple of little highlights. And yeah, it helps it to stand out a little bit. It helps it. Okay, filbert with a combed tip. This is great for fur. Great for fur. Where were you at yesterday when I was painting a lion? I was looking. I have told everybody I don't paint fur. I don't understand fur. I understand feathers. Right? I love birds. I've had chickens for a long time. Love my chickens. So I look at them a lot. So I think I have a good understanding of feathers. And I guess I have cats too. But I never really look at them and go, I definitely want to paint that cat. So I've never really thought of fur, and I've always kind of shunned doing some. I've painted some in the past, and I have thought it not very good. So I picked up the challenge, and I thought I did well. But now if you're telling me, Jennifer, if I can... If I can use a brush and get a fur effect, I'm not really gonna try. I'm intensely curious about it, the effect that you get from it, but I doubt I'll be trying to do it. See, I want some darker red down here. Dark red. Good. A little bit up here. I'm letting the color just go on here where it wants to go. I can, as long as it remains wet. This is one thing about using a good cotton paper, right? As long as this paper stays wet, I can move these colors however, almost wherever I want to. Right? There's a lot I can do with these colors as long as this page stays wet. As soon as it starts to dry, I'm done. I just have to walk away and either accept that the colors are going to be like that, or I can go back and do a second layer on whatever it is. But look at the life on that, right? There's a lot of movement going on there, and these are 3 different colors of red on here adding into that. That first layer was just almost all pink, if you remember. It wasn't a lot other than that. Let's see. Jennifer, you're going to try and post on Discord later. That's cool. Thank you. I appreciate that. My one real skill in watercolor or oil is dry brushing. Liza, now we know you can make grass or fur. I can't do either. I don't think I do either really well. That's okay. I'm not necessarily complaining about it. It's merely an observation, but I'm getting better. All right, now this is dry, and I want to come back and do a little bit more, add a little bit more color here, because I want to do everything but that top little bit, right? And I can have some that's lighter. But I need to set that off a little bit. I need there to be a distinct difference. Oh, it's just ever so wet right there. I need to not take away all my light areas here. So I'm going to do that. Maybe I can get it just a touch more dark right over here. Just there. Yes, yes, yes. Did somebody say sparkle paint? I looked up. Or sparkle watercolor with dry brush. Oh, I thought you were talking about sparkle paints. I love sparkle paints. All right, cool. Look at this one in the back. Look at this. That piece of watermelon in the back. Now, you can just imagine, right? There's a little bit of color back here. Just enough on the top to show that this is a nice big slice of watermelon, right? But there's not so much back here. Not so much color back here that you're going to say, oh, that looks odd. But with that little bit of light that shines up in there, you can just imagine that this is a nice big hearty slice. And you can see the dimensionality of it right there. Oh, it looks good. I want to grab it off of there and eat it. And I'm going to do the same thing down here, and I'm going to try to preserve. Now that I know where I have some darks on here, a few dark spots, I'm going to try to preserve, or I'm going to try to push those and preserve the light spots that are next to them. Brush posted to Discord. Cool. I'm going to do something with my chair. I can't move it. I'm going to look at that later. I'm sorry, I'm not going to look at it now because I don't have things hooked up so that everybody here can look at Discord. Or I would be happy to do that. Dana said, oh, Dana's here. Hello, Dana. I'm glad you could make it. Looking good so far. Thank you. I hope I hope when we're done we have something that looks delicious and looks like people want to grab it and take a bite. But I'm not really pushing for something that is super realistic or, you know, follows any other kind of... I want to use that, I guess when I say I like to use the reference photo as a reference, not as a roadmap, right? Basically, all I want is that outline or something very similar to that outline. Then I can kind of make up my own decisions going from there. I guess that's maybe a better way to describe how I do things. Okay, so this is still just a little bit damp. A little bit. That's definitely damp. That's damp. I guess we have to come back and do some of the rind here. And I'm going to take a little bit of my Cobalt Green. I'm going to mix in a little bit of this olive green and get us a color that's, you know, maybe not fully olive green, but enough that it makes it darker than what we think would be here. And I'm sorry, darker than just the normal Cobalt Green. And then I'm going to take some of this, pre-wet this, and I'm just going to lay a little bit of this color in, and this will be one layer of this color, and we'll probably end up doing a few. This maybe is a little thinner in here. Give me a little bit of this, a little bit more, come on. Looks like we got another one here. Maybe this one's, again, a little thicker, a little more irregular shape. Let's break this into two. Let's go off like that. I don't know how it goes. We'll figure it all out. Got another one here and one something here. Just a little something over there. It's not much of anything. Cool. And then, actually, I can do a little bit over here. Michael, the piece also looks very sweet. I love it that you can look at a watermelon and determine if it's sweet or not. Can you? Can you really? I can look at a watermelon and determine whether I want to eat it or not. But it's not really much of a determination because the answer is pretty much always yes. Just for me, that's kind of how it goes. It's just going to be a, yeah, I should probably eat that. But I will say, this year, I think my chickens have gotten more watermelons than I have because we've gotten some from the store and they just haven't tasted like we've wanted them to taste, and so we've, you know, they're still edible. They're not bad. And so the chickens got them, and the chickens love them. You can see the sugar glistening on it. Okay, as you cut it, you can see the sugar's glistening on it. Okay, I totally understand that. This is dry, but that's so wet. This might just be dry enough. Let's try this down here. I'm going to do a little bit over here, and let's see if it bleeds any. If it doesn't bleed, okay, we're good. We're good. I tried to grow watermelon about 4 years ago. Something like that. I had them in my greenhouse. I can't really grow anything outside of my greenhouse, not because there's no room or anything, but one, the chickens would eat everything. And two, our soil is just sand and there's not a whole lot to it. And three, we do have a slight gopher problem. And so I have tried to amend the soil and make it better for growing things. And The only thing it did is it made it better for the gophers or moles or voles or whatever they are to help themselves to my vegetables. And so now I only grow things in the greenhouse, but I grew them in the greenhouse, and the vines really kind of took everything over, and they were choking everything else out. And I got a little pumpkin like this big. And I kind of went, all right, maybe viney things aren't the best thing to be growing in the greenhouse, or in my greenhouse. Anyways, my greenhouse is not very big, obviously. So that was the end of my pumpkin growing. Pumpkin, oh my Lord. My watermelon growing. My watermelon growing adventures didn't last more than one season. Man, the squirrel. Squirrels are gathering supplies for the winter. That's okay. Squirrels need love too. They need food. I'm pro squirrel. There we go. I just dropped a little bit of extra color on here, and if it starts to run maybe a little bit where I don't want, I can pull it right back like that. I actually think this is starting to be a good looking piece of watermelon here, and in kind of these darker areas we can put some of the seeds. My phone just went off and I'm not sure why. Everybody knows I'm a little busy on Wednesdays. Okay, so now what we can do, I suppose, we used to feed them nuts until they put them in the air filters of your car. Interesting. Susie is here. Susie, have you been here the whole time? It was 100 degrees today here. No animals were moving. I can totally get that. Susie did this challenge this month, and Susie posted it on Discord, and Susie did a fantastic job. I was very impressed with she didn't do one watermelon. Susie did a whole crate full of watermelons, and it looks fantastic. Let's see, Jennifer says, so funny, I drove to my best friend's house this weekend and got to feed her chickens. I love feeding my chickens by hand. My neighbor's growing one pumpkin for a contest. 900 pounds. Holy cow. 900 pounds. And mine is like 1.5 pounds. I got the wimpiest watermelons or pumpkins, anything in the history of gardening. But I did grow some beets to pickle beets, and my beets came out about this big, which was fantastic. So I've got that. Nobody can beat my beets. Unless they try, in which case I don't think it'll be hard for them to beat my beets. Let's see, this is going to come out something just kind of, let's let this come out a little further. Here's our watermelon shadow here. I'm going to put that on. I'm actually going to put a bit of green in here too, or a little reflected light. I told you guys I wasn't good at skies before, and I think I've kind of redeemed myself with skies a little bit. The next thing I really need to tackle are shadows. I think my shadows are abysmal. I don't think they're very good. I really do need to step up my shadow game. quite a bit, I think. Beets caramelize very well when roasted. They too are filled with sugar. They are called filled with sugar. So I pickled some beets last year as the season ended, and I did one batch that were roasted and one batch that were, I'm going to call them raw, right? They were fresh, and I've been eating them. I think both of them are fantastic. I think I actually like the fresh ones a little bit better. But yeah, roasted beets are pretty fantastic. I'm actually pretty excited. My homemade sauerkraut is ready to eat. Very excited about my homemade sauerkraut. My only issue is that I didn't make them from my garden, or make it from my garden. Right now, this sauerkraut is from a store-bought cabbage, which is, again, it's fine. Nothing wrong with that. But I'm waiting for my cabbages to get big. That's really not her. Let's see. Rabbits. Jennifer, does your crops work cayenne pepper next year? Yes, rabbits don't like cayenne pepper. Most animals don't like cayenne pepper. Eliza says, you're a pickled fan. Pickles are great. Get it at the dollar store. Oh yeah, rabbits and squirrels I love. Jennifer says, all the animals like Jennifer's house. They're all going over there. Don't worry about it. They'll be there for the Super Bowl this year. That's how much they like Jennifer's house. I'm super happy this year. Our mourning doves are back. We used to have mourning doves that would nest in a tree. We have one tree in our backyard, and the mourning doves would nest in it, and it was so nice to hear them every morning when you wake up and you come home from work. You can hear the mourning doves. There's such a beautiful coo to them. But I think the pair that was living there passed on or moved on or something, and so we haven't had mourning doves in our backyard for a couple of years now. But now they're back with a vengeance. Oh man, look, see, let's not do that. And I'm so happy that my mourning doves are back. I walked into the backyard and they got spooked like they do. And they flew into the chicken coop. So I went, I wonder if I could capture me some mourning doves. I walked over and closed the door of the chicken coop, and I took a picture of them and then let them go. I don't have no interest in actually capturing mourning doves, but I took a picture of them in the chicken coop and texted my family and went, something is wrong with our chickens. And they're all like, wait, what happened? How did that happen? We hear a lot of crickets here now. Oh, crickets are so nice. They have a nice call. Crickets do. We don't have a whole lot of crickets because we don't have a whole lot of brush for them to live in because I keep it pretty cleaned up. I don't like all of the other animals, the other vermin that come along with having that, it's not trash. It's just green waste, really. It's just green leaves and branches and sticks and twigs and all that kind of stuff that they live in and around and under. I don't leave it out because if we get earwigs, if you have one earwig, you have like 400,000 of them, and we've had so many that I've worked hard to get rid of them, and I don't want them back, so I keep it all cleaned up so they can't get back here. And I feel like I'm rambling on today. Am I? Where are we? Oh, we got 15 people in here. Fantastic. 15 people is a wonderful number. Any of you who are new and joining us for the first time, please feel free to say hello. We're all pretty friendly here. I like to talk, well, just about everything. Oh, Eliza, you got a million earwigs there. We talk about a little of everything, mostly painting, color, paper, that kinds of things, but we delve into everything. If you have a question for me or about me, throw it out there. I'm happy to answer it. If you want to know about art or watercolors or painting styles, anything like that, I will take a crack at answering. I'm not saying I'm an expert on all of this kind of stuff, but I'll answer what I can and tell you what I don't know, and you can take it from there. And everybody else here on the channel is pretty friendly, and they'll probably jump in and take a crack at answering for you also. And I'm going to ask everybody here, if you haven't done it already, and probably you have, I know Liza has asked, if everybody would, I think it's right down there or down there. I'm not sure. If everybody would just kind of go down there and click that thumbs up button and click the like button. I'd greatly appreciate that. That would push me up a little bit on the YouTube whatever algorithm that gets me into other areas. Let's see. Dang, Michael, if a store was open here, I would run out and get a watermelon right now. We haven't even put any seeds on here yet. But it does look kind of good though, right? I think it's looking good. I think it's getting there. Couple little things that we need to do yet. Right, couple of things. Ooh, that's got red in it. So I've got water up here. I'm trying to manage. The one furthest that way, I've tried to only dip my brush in with red paint because red gets everywhere. And then I got one in the middle, which is everything else. And then the one over here is just clean water. I'm trying to manage which one I dip my brush in. So I got to get into a cleaner one because I just want to tighten these up a little bit if we can. See a little bit more of this color. Maybe that was maybe it's still a little too wet, but I think we're going to be all right with this. We can get even a little bit of this brown on there. I think we can do a little bit of, we mix a little bit of this sepia in there, and we can even darken this up a little bit more. That looks kind of like, that looks pretty watermelon-y. I think it does. And here, well, we got a couple over here too. Let's not forget about these little areas we can see. Just here and here. Maybe a little here and there. Just little bits that we can see there. Yeah, yeah, that looks like a watermelon rind now. I did notice I need to finish my green up here a little bit, but that's okay. Let's see, Susie says, I really like this painting. The reference photo is fun too. So I will tell you, that's not a real watermelon. Just like the lighthouse that we did 3 weeks ago wasn't a real lighthouse. Those aren't real watermelon, but they look real watermelon, and they're plenty good for our purposes. I use a website called Stock Cake, and it specializes in AI images, and you tell it something, and it generates, or it looks for it, see if it has one, or if it doesn't, it generates some AI images for you, and pop, out it comes. And so this is what it gave me, and I went, this is pretty good. I like it. I'm going to use it. And so no watermelons were actually harmed in the making of this video. I got just a little green that ran over there. You guys can't even see it, but I can see it, and it's going to bother me. Yeah. So let's see. This up here is dry. So I'm going to drop down to a little smaller brush size now. AI scares me. And Susie says it fooled you. I'll tell you, AI sometimes scares me. I don't think we're quite there yet. I think the stuff that you and I see, we're not quite there yet. It's still all a gimmick. But I think we're not far away from a time when AI will actually be used in society for lots of things. I think it's really going to revolutionize chemistry. And I think it's really going to revolutionize medicine and metallurgy. And a number of other genre like that, where we just can't think to put things together in the right way or in a different way. We're too stuck doing things the way we've done it, and we can't think outside the box to do some things, but AI will just go, oh no, hey, have you thought of doing this? And it'll throw something out there, and it'll either work really well or it won't work really well, but we'll have a lot of opportunities to change things. I really think a couple of those areas like that are really going to see drastic changes in the not too distant future. AI still can't count fingers, right? That's the stuff that we use it for. And yeah, there are some obvious fakes out there, right? Fingers are one obvious part of it. I don't know why AI can't do it, and it's not really good at spelling either. I made a whole bunch of promos. I was going to do some painting on Saturday evenings, maybe, yeah, Friday evenings, Saturday evenings. What's wet? Where can I put my fingers? And so a long time ago, I had a little series on the weekend that I called Wine and Watercolors. And I don't know if I've talked about wine and watercolors before, but it was a fun thing to do, and it didn't last all that long and whatnot, but I thought since I live in wine country, it'd be kind of a fun thing. But then here, where I live anyways, craft beer has really gotten pretty big, and the wine industry, which is huge here in California, seems to have, again, taken a bit of a back seat to some of the craft breweries we have around here. So I renamed everything, and I named it Beer and Brushes. So I was like, well, you know, give me a fake beer can and some paintbrushes in a picture, and it would give me a beer can, but beer would be spelled wrong. I kept trying to get the machine to spell beer right, and it couldn't figure it out. And I'm like, I don't understand. I don't understand what the problem is. Let's see. There are a lot of squirrels in Yuma. Let's see. Oh, wait, I missed. AI will mask truth sometimes. Sometimes it will. Still can't count fingers right. AI sometimes helps my husband write his computer code. He says it's pretty good. I have used it for evaluations. I give it my speech for my employee evaluations, and I say, this sounds terrible because I wrote it. Can you make this sound better? And it does. It's kind of one cool way to use it. Liza, I'm out. I'm sorry, everyone. You are being deluded if you buy into it. Liza, it's all good. Wait, what happened? What did we do? Okay, I'm Liza. I'm sorry if we all said something. Hopefully you'll be back. When I think of AI, I think of the movies Robot and the Terminators. Yes. Yeah. Star. What was it? From Terminator. I don't know. When it was supposed to have gone active 2 years ago, 3 years ago. Something like that. It's not Starlink. That's Elon Musk. But the AI that we all use, it's fine. It's harmless. It's another tool to do different things. And Liza, if you're watching a replay, if you come back, I'm sorry, I don't know what we said. I was just making conversation. Okay, let's see. My issue is that currently AI is pretty bad for the environment. It is pretty bad for the environment. If you do an AI search of things, be it through Google Bard, Google Gemini, or you use the Microsoft tool, which is something. It's supposed to take 7 times as much energy as doing a regular Google search. What I heard. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just saying that's what I've heard. All right, I'm dropping in a few seeds here. Sudika says, here's my question. How will teachers know if a student has actually done his or her own research and writing? Well, I can answer that. But I'm not sure you're going to like my answer. Because my answer is, I don't think it matters. Because we went through a very similar thing, and I have complete faith that teachers will figure everything out. But we went through a very similar thing back in the 70s and 80s when everybody started having their own calculator. How will we ever teach math? Everybody has calculators and they can do all the math on a calculator. Well, we've kind of figured it out, right? You do have to change your teaching methodology a little bit. There is some of that, but we have figured out there are ways to do it, and you have to teach more to how to set programs, or how to set equations up to do them, rather than focus so much on the outcome of the equation. But we've all figured that out, I think. Art is truth. You make your own. Never trust a computer because it can manipulate, and badly. That's true. It can. That's true. It can. And I'm not necessarily defending AI or anything, but people are pretty good at manipulation too. Susie says, yeah, she understands, and she finds AI a little scary too. AI is a little scary. it's scary because it's a big unknown, and we don't know exactly what we're marching into unknown territories. But we've done that as a species for forever, and we'll figure it out. I have faith in us as a species. Remember the books back in the day that summed up books that you were supposed to read yourself, like Cliff Notes or stuff like that, right? Tracy, my fear is that people will prefer AI art over man-made art. Okay, so now there is something that I think is good to be afraid of. And I don't even like a whole lot of digital art because it's easy, right? It's not cheating necessarily, but it's easier art, in my opinion. And I might be wrong. I'm sorry. I'm looking at my reference photo and thinking about what I need to do here. But Susie, it's a lie. Susie, AI is a lie. I guess you never figure out Satan. Never. All right. I don't know that AI is Satan per se, but so be it. I do understand the sentiment. Let's see. I think most of this is pretty dry. I can drop a few. Whoa, that one's probably not quite dry enough. I can't really drop any seeds in there. And so I can do a couple of things here now. I've got this kind of where it's at. If I just drop these seeds on there, I think it'd be fine. Right, I don't really have any issue with any of this the way it is. I can put these seeds on, and like I said, I think it'd be fine. I think the next thing to do, if we were to add more to this, is to look at this image. And if you look at a watermelon, it's very much the same. There are like pockets between some of these seeds or around some of these seeds, and we could just put a little darker, still be red, just be a little bit darker area around some of these seeds, or maybe a line or two in kind of the red area here. Let's see if I can't do a little bit of this. Let's see. If I pull this down like this and over, just get this little darker area. Should hopefully give a little extra interest to some of this. Let's see, this one can come down like this maybe. I don't know exactly how these go. I do want to smooth this out a little bit though. This might be a little bit much. I just know that watermelons often have these interesting areas, these little pockets of, it's almost a pocket of air that's inside them around some of these seeds. And I want to get some of that in here. And shoot, they might have a little bit of this here and there without having a seed in it. There's one. Here's one down here. Right, maybe it's right in that dark area right there. All right, there we go. So a little extra something. What about the lighter color seeds? Lighter color seeds are going to be tough because I didn't plan for them. I could do a few lighter color seeds, I think. If I had some gouache or if I were to maybe, I mean, my yellow ochre here is a little opaque. I could put some of this yellow ochre on and hope that that would suffice for a seed or two. But it's a great observation. And I just didn't plan for it. There you go, a couple of seeds there. Yeah, I guess I could do a little bit of that. Right, a little bit of this yellow ochre on there. Good. Of course, yellow ochre is pretty opaque, right? Of all the colors I have, it is the opaquest. So there you go. I dropped a little bit of color on there, and I'm going to make sure that it gets all the way to the edges or close to the edges. And look, I got a couple of little lighter seeds. I don't know. I think it kind of works. Kind of. Somewhat. It's going to drop a little bit of blue in a couple of these holes that we just created. Let's make it look like it sinks down in there a little bit. Let's see, Liza. What happened? I know I sound crazy, but I'm not. I read my Bible every day. God loves me. He gives me the gift of art. That's fantastic. Tracy, what did Tracy say up above? I didn't see. Tracy, when the zombie apocalypse occurs and the computers are gone, our old-fashioned sketching skills will come in handy. Oh, there you go. Yes, Tracy's a much better sketcher than I am, for sure. Liza says, I love you all. Keep creating. Liza, we love you too. Susie says, Liza, you didn't sound crazy. God does love us. Plus, you're an American and entitled to your beliefs. It's all good. Liza, I'm totally fine with everything you've said. I don't have a problem with any of it. I don't want you to go away thinking anybody is angry or upset. I just was having a conversation about it, and I didn't mean to trigger anybody. I'm a little different because I think the AI that's out now is hysterical. It's not really good for much of anything. I think in the future we've got some tough decisions to make, but where we're at right now, I don't think is much of any harm, more than anything else that's out there. Let's see, Sudike, he gave you the gift you gave yourself. Will. Okay, cool. It's called free will. Right, interesting. Love you, Tracy. Keep going. Natalie's here. Hello, hello, hello. Liza says you just hate AI. I totally get it. And I'm not trying to change your mind. I don't think anybody here is trying to change your mind. I totally get that. I'm gonna tighten up a couple of these seeds. They've kind of gotten a little fuzzy edge. And I can't. I'm stuck. I can't do these because my paper is still wet back there or over there. And Natalie, thank you. Natalie says beautiful watermelon. Thank you. Maybe if I just pulled a little bit of something off of these and get them to dry that little bit, so I don't have next month's challenge quite yet. I'm thinking about it. I wanted to do a fall flower. Let's change the subject. I wanted to do a fall flower. I couldn't quite find anything other than sunflowers. about that peacock. But I was thinking of doing a coneflower. I do like coneflowers, or echinacea. and Jennifer's going to tell me about the peacock. I think maybe let's do that. Let's make coneflower or echinacea. I believe they're the same plant. They're very similar. Let's make that, because it's a lovely flower. Let's make that our next challenge. We can do coneflower next month. That'll be fun. I actually like that idea. And then I don't know about a peacock. Jennifer, I'm all for painting a peacock. My big thing, I will be honest with you, my big thing is that I have to choose something that can be done in roughly an hour to an hour and a half. And my problem with a peacock is that there's a lot there, and I'm not sure I can get it done in an hour, hour and a half. Now, I just had a thought about doing something here, and I might have just screwed it up. I'll just blend this out, and it'll be fine. Right? It's just that's a tough thing to do. What about Indian corn? The corn is multicolored. I like that. How about just the feathers? Okay, I'll put it here. I've got peacock. I'm just going to put peacock feathers. I'll think about it. I'll consider that. I have to think about feathers and Indian corn. Let me put Indian corn down here too. I think Indian corn might be better a little closer to Thanksgiving, Halloween, Thanksgiving, maybe. Something where we're a little bit further into harvest time. And just a little closer to that time of year where we would see it out and about. I am going to do this. I'm just going to drag my brush on here a little bit. And hope this gives this just a little bit of added texture. It's just looking a little flat to me. I just want a little something extra on here. I'm okay with the general look of it. I'm okay with the general feel of this. I think it's just, I'm not quite okay with it just being this flattish color and nothing else. So I think if we just get a little bit of something extra here, it's going to give just a little more kick to this. I think that's what I was looking for. Right, just rough this up ever so slightly. This one a little bit less than the one in front, the one in back not at all. I actually like that. I actually like that better. I don't know if you can see it. Okay, I'm gonna raise it up. There's a little bit of texture on there now. Right, there's a little bit less back there, and there's none back on the back one, but that front one now has a little bit more texture on it, and you can see it's a little rougher. Maybe that cut didn't go through quite as easily as we thought it did. It broke it up a little bit. Am I out of focus? Come on, get back in focus. That's focus. Calm down with me. There we go. Let's see. How about just the feather? Okay, could be You could just paint peacock feather. Let's see. Be well. Keep doing the gift God gave you. All right. Bellflowers. I'm really struggling with the bell. Jennifer, what are bellflowers? Bellflowers. I'm going to look up bellflowers too. Bellflowers. Are those like, sound like those would be like Chinese lanterns a little bit. I don't know. Kind of sounds like that. Okay, I'm trying to look to see if we need to do anything else with these. I'm actually kind of happy with the way these turned out. They don't look a whole lot like that, and that's okay. I don't have a problem with that at all. But they kind of look nice. They look interesting, and that to me kind of is more important than anything else. Where's my pointer here? So I said when we started, right, we're going to try and put these in layers and make this one darker to lighter, darker to lighter, darker to lighter. And that was going to keep a light spot here, which would push this back. This would keep a light spot here, which would push that back. Hopefully give this whole painting some depth. And I think we've got that, right? I'm happy with that amount of depth. I kind of like the coloring around here. It's not really specific. I don't know how I would do it differently. I don't want to have too many like sharp edges on here. Just the background color is really different. Yummy melon. Just the background color is really different. Jennifer, bellflowers, I'm really struggling with just the background color. Just the background color here. I don't know. Jennifer, tell me what you mean. Let's see. Now we used those basic 3 different colors. If I can do this. These 3 different colors of red, right? Actually, you'll see it better here. Let's do this. Got my card. So we have a full bleed here, right? Quiacridone Rose, which is really a pink. Pyrrol Red, which is like, I always say that this is like a fire engine red. And then Alizarin Crimson, which is a little cooler of a color. And the mix of these 3 all through the body of this, I think you can kind of see, right? There's some really light pinkish areas. And when I painted this whole thing pink, it already looked right. Right? And so then we've got these darker areas in here. We've got some areas that are lighter and darker throughout the meat of the watermelon here. I think it turned out really pretty nice. I think that, I really hate saying when I speak. I'm trying not to do that. The simple background on the sample looks like it helps it pop back there, is what you're saying. I see. So if I were to use a really light green background here, it would make this pop. It really would. Probably would. Probably would. I'm probably not going to use it though. I hate just backgrounds. A lot of things I don't like in watercolor, and then I end up acquiescing and doing them anyways. But I'm going to say this was this was done in a studio on a white tablecloth with a little light over here shining down this way. I'm trying to think, are there any things about this I really don't like? I don't think there really are any things about this I don't like. I like the mottled color through here. I like the little roughness I put on here. I think that helps. Maybe if I could have done anything, I could have aligned my seeds a little better. I guess over here, I could put in a couple of more seeds that would align this a little better. And I can't because it's wet. Shoot. It is wet. How is it still wet? It's still wet. Unbelievable. Okay, so I can't do that. All right. It happens. So I think that's what I'm going to do with this. I think I'm going to stop there. That's my watercolor challenge. Next month, I guess we're going to make it coneflower is our challenge. I'm going to think about peacocks and doing peacock or peacock feather, a beaver or a dog, specifically a boxer. I'll have to think about the boxer. I think I could do beaver. I do have a number of out of the dark. You ask yourself every day why it's still wet. It shouldn't be. It shouldn't be still wet. Let's see. Hang on one second. I've got a few things that I've pre-drawn. Maybe you all want to see one of these, right? A parrot head. Is that one or two? Oh, I don't even know if you can see that. A parrot head. Right. Another hawk head. A giraffe. There you can see the giraffe kind of standing there. This is kind of a landscape. I did that one painting from Harmony, California. This is another one. This is the glass blower shop up there. I've got a chameleon here, if you can see that. I've got a ram's head here. I think that'll be fun to do. I've got another chameleon. I've got another hawk head, and I've got a toucan here. So I've got those that might come up too. As some that we might get to pretty soon. But I will let everybody know on your trusty hair dryer today. Jennifer says coneflowers are fun. Susie's voting for the coneflower. I'll let everybody know what we're going to do next week. Probably Monday. I was just thinking Monday's a holiday. And then Monday's a holiday, and then I'm off work Thursday and Friday, so it might be a fun Wednesday. I might have a little too much energy getting ready for a long weekend. But that's where I'm going to end it tonight. I hope that all of you have a wonderful rest of your evening. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week. I won't see you, most of you anyways, until next week. So I hope you have a wonderful holiday, a great long weekend, or a good long weekend. And we'll be back here again next Wednesday, where we'll do something else fun and entertaining. And until then, thank you all so much for helping to make my Wednesday so enjoyable. Until then, thank you and bye-bye.